Damon Fontenot here with Barry Trammell at Big 12 Football Media Days, but of course the big story of the day, Penn State, as the penalties come down for the program led by Joe Paterno. A $60 million fine, no bowl play for 4 years, and all wins suspended from 1998 all the way through 2011. Barry, it's obviously as severe as we've seen other than the death penalty. What does all this mean?
Well, I mean, it cripples Penn State football for a very long time, and perhaps to the point where I don't know if it can get back. I mean, this is scholarship reductions as well, so you'll be offering fewer scholarships and offering them to kids that probably didn't have a lot of other options. So Penn State football is for the foreseeable future, going into a decade or more, it's going to be a shell of what it once was.
There's still football. They said they didn't want to take football away because so many people depend on the game as far as merchants, fans, everything that surrounds the football game. But as you just said, as far as the program and the game itself, Penn State is basically eliminated for the next decade, perhaps.
Well, and the Big Ten has even come in and administered its own penalties. So, yeah, Penn State is, when you think of the Big Ten, you think of Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State as the big three. And, the Penn State's gone. That Penn State is gone. And so from a football standpoint, I mean, Penn State has been sufficiently crippled. Of course, this is not a story about football success. This is an American tragedy, the fall of a legend in Joe Paterno. And if the NCAA, I think the NCAA was trying to dent the Paterno legend, and I think it succeeded. I think Joe Paterno's legacy has been completely written. There's not any middle ground here. There's not any gray area. The NCAA has ruled Joe Paterno, his career is not to be valued. It is not to be cherished. It's to be admonished, and it's to be pitied. And the Penn State football tradition is in tatters today.
Well, we had obviously 5 programs come through Big 12 Football Media Days today. Bill Snyder did not want to talk about it, but the other 4 coaches did, including Bob Stoops.
It's too big for me to speak on, and to me, my only word all along has been it's absolutely tragic, this whole thing, and there aren't any words for me to say to explain it or to and I'm removed to a degree, so it's just incredibly sad all around.
It's tough. I can't imagine. I've got 2 young kids, and it's mind-boggling what we've all seen. I mean, I've been in this business 35 years, and you think you've seen it all, and there can't be anything any more disturbing than what's happened. The sanctions to me, are minor in terms of what you can do now. It's what's done's been done, as we all need to do. When something changes in our business, you have to sit down and make sure that nothing ever like this can happen on your campus, and we've done that. And so we deal with young people, and I hope the young people hadn't lost confidence in football coaches and college football in general. But it's a sad time. Last year was a tough time in college sports, and hopefully we can get back to something positive happening.
It's tragic on a lot of levels for a lot of different people. And on the other side of it is that I think Nick Saban said it best. I think what we have to do is, instead of talking about all the negatives, we got to talk about the positive. We got to go out and find an answer, because it's not just a problem that happened at Penn State. It's a problem that happens. It's a world problem. So I'm going to work on finding an answer. That's why I have a foundation. And I'm in a business of kids, so I got to find an answer.
First and foremost, what's taken place up there needs to play out in the legal system and in the courts, and then what happens to that, the consequences that go along with that happen next. But it's certainly a loud exclamation point that right's right and wrong's wrong, and wrong's not going to be tolerated.
So, Barry, where does Penn State go from here? It looks bleak, but what can they do from this point on?
Well, the one thing Penn State can do, I think, is just start slowly. Anything that they do is going to have to come slowly. They can start building back their good name. The problem Penn State has is not a football problem now. I mean, they have an institutional problem, whereas a lot of people don't want a degree from Penn State. The term Penn State means hideous, awful things. And it's Penn State University and that community has got to build back toward making Penn State an honorable name in higher education. So to me, that's the key, is whatever the goal is, whatever steps they take, that must be the goal. Get our good name back, and that's going to take years and years and years. But if they start now, it can happen.
All right. Well, of course, we're going to have plenty more coming from here at Big 12 Football Media Days, and of course, covering all of college football. That's going to do it for now. Of course, stay tuned to News OK and Every Day in the Oklahoma.